What's up, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the King's Corner, where today we're talking about two new release films of the year. It's going to be No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence, and SISU, the new World War II film. Look, let's just get into it. Let's get started talking about No Hard Feelings. We were finally able to get out to see this movie in the theater. If some of you don't know, we just had a newborn 3 months ago. So it's harder to take him to the movies. We like to go Thursday during the day. Um, you know, when there's no one there, then it's easier to bring him. Or we've been taking him to the drive-in for some of the bigger films uh, that came out in the beginning of the summer, particularly. But yeah, this one, No Hard Feelings, came out a few weeks ago. So there was like two or three people in there, but we sat in a spot that was away from everybody else, just in case he decided to get rowdy or we had to tend to him. So, regardless, all that aside, No Hard Feelings is a movie that is a new comedy film. This came out before Joyride, which I reviewed last week, which I think is actually one of my favorite movies of the year. That's a comedy film that has so much layers to it. The screenplay is so layered, and it actually has good emotion to it. Coming right off the heels of that, with me saying this, I wasn't a huge fan of No Hard Feelings. Did I like it? Yes, I did. I think this is an okay film, but I don't think it's a very great film. I don't think it's a very good film. I just think it's okay. It's not bad. Jennifer Lawrence, she's very good in the movie. She does what she has to do. But the one who surprised me, and the kid who carried the film, is the kid who played Percy, Andrew Barth Feldman. Is the actor's name. I believe this is his first role. And he's so likable. He's so good in this movie. And I thought the script working around that character was the strongest part of the movie. Really enjoyed that character, and I wish they kind of dived a little deeper into his story other than what Jennifer Lawrence was dealing with, because, some things that she's dealing with in the film and her past, whatever lifelong house that she's lived in all of her life, that stuff just kind of fell flat for me. Didn't really care about any of that. What was going on with her personally, wasn't a fan of it. She got two friends in the film. There's a married couple that's pregnant, having a baby, and they added some life to it. They were pretty entertaining, pretty funny. But in the end of the day, all the stuff that kind of goes with where the story goes with that stuff, it was my least favorite part of the film. My favorite part of the film was everything with this Percy character. He was really good, really endearing, and really entertaining. I think he has great chemistry with Jennifer Lawrence as well. But another thing that kind of bugged me about this movie is, the marketing for it. They marketed it as like, see Jennifer Lawrence, how you've never seen her before, yada yada, all this, and they really try to kind of push the R rating in the marketing. So when you go see this movie, look, I think the film that I just was talking about, Joyride, is a much more raunchy film than this. I think this movie has like one scene in particular that kind of pushes the R rating, but you know, it's a goofy, silly scene. It's played for laughs, of course. Um, but I mean, it's not like this movie is going to blow your socks off with the raunchiness. The humor is there. It's a funny movie. I didn't think that the humor was necessarily bad. Found myself laughing a couple times. Um, there is that one scene where it goes really over the top, but then where the film starts to falter for me is like the last 30 minutes of the movie or so. It just seemed like it started to drag a little bit. And the way that it had to wrap itself up, it just seemed like there was a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and I feel like they made it a lot more complicated than they probably should have. It's a very basic story that I think they added a lot, too much filler in like the third act of the movie. Is it cliched? Yes. Can you kind of see where it's going? Yes. Matthew Broderick's the father of the kid. He's got a good little role. You don't see him too much, but he's good while he's there. Not a great movie. Is it watchable? Yes. Is it better than some of the comedies of the year? I like it better than Cocaine Bear. I like it better than 80 for Brady. But at the end of the day, it's not great. It's no joyride. This film is a 3.5 out of 5-star movie for me. Like I said, it's watchable, but it's nothing great. So if you go into it just expecting just a okay film, I think you'll get that. Will it knock your socks off? Probably not. And finally, we're going to be talking about SISU. It's a World War II film about a veteran who's kind of migrating from one place to another and the end of the war, and there's Nazis all over the place, and he's mining, and he's digging, and he's digging, and he finds gold. So he wants to cash in his gold. So he's kind of got to get from one place to another, runs into a bunch of Nazis in the middle of it, and yeah, conflict ensues. He has to survive the whole film. So that's really it. You also have some other female characters that are taken by the Nazis that kind of reminded me of the female characters from Mad Max Fury Road, which were sort of being held captive. I thought it was a very similar type story. I had a lot of Mad Max Fury Road vibes to this. So that film was just kind of in the back of my head watching this whole movie. And that was probably the worst thing that could have been in the back of my head, because just about everything this movie does isn't as good as Mad Max Fury Road. Now, don't go into this movie expecting that, but at least expect to be entertained. And I'll tell you this, the first half hour of this film, I was locked in. I said, wow, this is really, really entertaining and well made. But I just felt like the movie had nowhere to go. By the second act, started losing me a little more. By the third act, I was kind of falling asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's a guy on TikTok who does, can you stay awake for whatever movie he's watching? And if I was doing this, you'd see me uh, continue to be nudged, because I was falling out of it. It's like the movie had nothing else to offer. Hey, he's fighting Nazis. The action, I thought, was subtle. It was a lot more subtle than it was in the trailers. I think the trailers might set you up to believe that this is a John Wick level action film, a nobody action film, that Bob Odenkirk film, but it's not. It's more subdued than that. Is a personal story for him, emotional story, sure, but I couldn't find myself getting completely hooked. It's also like a film like The Revenant, about the Hugh Glass character. Obviously, 10 times better film. So many other movies that are kind of similar to this that have done it better. Do I like this movie? Yes, I would say I moderately liked it, but as it went on, it just felt very repetitive to me, and it just felt like it lost steam and didn't have much up its sleeve by the end of the film. So Sisu is a 3 out of 5-star movie for me. It's right in the middle. I don't really like it. I don't really dislike it. I'm very, very on the fence about it, and I just, it just couldn't hook me. Didn't do it. It lost me by the end of it, and that's a shame, because I was really into that first 30 minutes. Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, it's a very well-looking movie. The really big action set pieces, what you see in the trailers, the first kind of big fight he gets in. But yeah, I just feel like the movie didn't have a ton to offer than what you got in the trailer, which was probably the highlights of the film. So that's where I'm at with that. Comment down below. Do you plan on seeing either of these films? Sisu is out on 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD right now, and No Hard Feelings is still in theaters, so you can catch either of these films either at home or on the big screen. Next week, we got a big one coming out. I'm going to try to see it as soon as possible. Speaking of possible, Mission Impossible. The movie just came out in the theater this past Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever it was. We got to catch up. We got to watch the first 6 films in preparation for this. I've only seen the last 2, so we got to watch all of them leading up to it. So probably not going to be reviewing that for a little bit. Also, Insidious, Last Door, that opened last week. Gonna check that out soon, hopefully. So yeah, a bunch of films on the horizon, a bunch of films I need to talk about. Got a nice little stack of Blu-rays of the films that we missed since having the baby. that came out on Blu-ray since being in the theaters. Like we talked about Pope's Exorcist, and we talked about SISU. There's a nice little stack, including Polite Society, including Beau is Afraid, and Big George Foreman. A couple other things can be added to that list. So all those movies you're going to see reviews for on the channel very soon. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingArises131. That's been it for me. Thank you so much for watching this one, and until next time, over and out.